So today's video has 5 quick, easy, and delicious ways to use crescent rolls. These recipes were so good, you definitely don't want to miss them. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Amanda. So in today's video, it's all about crescent rolls. I have some fun and delicious ways you can use those crescent rolls up. You know, the stores often have them on sale this time of year, so it's the perfect time to try new crescent roll recipes. And these were really good. I think you're really going to enjoy them, especially the cinnamon rolls. Oh my word, if you only make one thing out of this video, please make those. They're so good. But everything was really good. We enjoyed it. Go ahead and give me a like if you're excited to get into this video, but let's go ahead and get into these delicious recipes. We're going to start out with these yummy, delicious chocolate crescents. This recipe is so super easy and so very delicious. They're very addictive, so I highly recommend you try them. You just need 1 can of crescent rolls, or obviously if you wanted to like double or triple this, just however many you'd like to do. And I don't measure any of my like chocolate chips or anything like that. I just put on how many I like. And I had a special request for a different kind of chocolate chips, so that's what I'm putting on here first. So obviously you could change this out and use all kinds of stuff. You could do peanut butter chips and chocolate chips. I bet that combination would be really good. But you're basically going to just kind of fill up that crescent roll and get it to where, you know, it's good and coated with some chocolate chips, and roll it up and place it on your baking sheet, or I'm using a baking stone with parchment paper on it. And I just follow the directions on the package for the crescent rolls on the baking time and temperature and everything. Now, I do use mini chocolate chips ordinarily, but the ones I placed in those first few were just regular size chocolate chips because, like I said, one of my kids had asked for a different chocolate chip. I can't even remember which one it was. It was either those espresso chocolate chips or maybe like some dark chocolate chips. I can't remember, but anything like that would work. I mean, there are so many different combinations you could use with this, and it would be so good. Everything gets all nice and melty, and then you've got, you know, the toasty crescent rolls and everything. And once they come out, I just like to sprinkle them with some powdered sugar, and it makes them look so pretty. These would be great for like Christmas morning breakfast. It'd be something super easy you can throw in the oven really quickly, or even like as almost like a sweet appetizer if you're having like a get together. It would be like so good for any of those things because people are going to love them. They'll probably be the first thing gone because they are so very good, and they're especially good when they first come out of the oven. So next up we have pepperoni cheese stick roll-ups. So this is another easy crescent roll recipe, and it was super delicious, especially the garlic butter glaze that goes on top. It was so good. But I just have some mozzarella cheese sticks here. I'm just cutting those in half. And I've also got some pepperoni there that I had frozen, so I had to microwave it just a little bit to get it to thaw out kind of quickly because I forgot to sit it in the refrigerator. So we're just going to separate those crescent rolls into 8 different pieces, and then we're going to layer on some pepperoni. And you can put kind of as much or as little as you like, and then one of the pieces of the mozzarella stick. And then, you know, once we get all these assembled, they're going to be ready to bake, and then we'll top them at the end with that topping. Now, I will say that the cheese in this didn't melt super good, which for some people they might like that. I would have liked to have it a little bit more melty, so I think next time I might like to like maybe cut that cheese stick in half again and like kind of where it's not so thick, because I think the thickness of the cheese stick kind of made it not exactly, you know, as easy to melt as quickly. So, and we're just going to bake those at 350 degrees for 10 to 14 minutes, just until they're nice and golden brown. And so now we've got our garlic butter glaze. We've got some butter that we melted, some Italian seasoning, some garlic powder, and some grated Parmesan cheese. And once these get out, we're just going to brush that over those. Y'all, that garlic butter glaze, oh my word, I need to use that on lots of things because it was so very good. It kicked this up completely to another level. And my son is still talking about these. I need to make them again because he's already been asking for them again. But these are absolutely delicious. I think your whole family will love them, especially since he is a picky eater and he absolutely loved them. We just served them with some like pizza sauce or marinara sauce and also some ranch, and both those were really good choices to dip these in. But these were really, really good. I cannot recommend this recipe enough. They were delicious. And of course, as always, I'll have all the recipes linked in the description box below. So now we're going to take our crescent rolls and turn them into cinnamon rolls. And I don't know about y'all, but I absolutely love cinnamon rolls. They're so good. I prefer them with cream cheese icing, and I almost thought about doing that with these, but I decided to do this icing, and they were so good. So we've just got some brown sugar in here, butter that's been softened, and some cinnamon. We're just going to blend that together until it's almost kind of like a paste. And then we're going to set that aside. Now, this original recipe called for you to actually use like just the individual crescent rolls, but I got a pack of the sheet rolls because I really wanted them to be more like traditional cinnamon rolls. So I just decided to use the crescent roll dough sheets. Those are so handy for things like this. That way you don't have to press the seam together or any of that stuff like that. But I'm just going to spread my mixture here on top of that. This would also be a good time to like add anything extra you wanted to add. Like if you wanted to add some crushed pecans, you know, like some kind of thing like that that you wanted to add in here. Maybe even some like really finely chopped apples, you know, just different things that you could kind of change this up a little bit. They were perfect just the way they were, but I'm always a big fan of finding a recipe that I can change and make it into almost like a new thing. So once we get our mixture evenly spread over our dough, then we're just going to roll that up. And I just used a knife to cut these, and that worked just fine. I know that there's some different tricks to do like regular cinnamon rolls. Like I think some people use floss and stuff like that, but this worked perfect too for this. And they did compress just a little, but I just kind of fluffed them back out, you know. And these will bake in 375-degree oven for about 9 to 12 minutes. Just keep an eye on them. With anything I'm baking, I always check it at kind of the lowest temperature that's setting, and then kind of keep judging it from there, because everybody's ovens are different, so you just never know, and what works for one person, you know, may be burnt for another. So, and now that I'm watching this back, I totally should have arranged that into a Christmas tree. I don't know if there would have been enough there to do that, but I've seen those type of things, and they're so cute, and I totally should have tried to see if I could at least make one out of that. If you use 2 cans, I'm sure you could probably make one of those cute Christmas trees, and that would be super easy, and it looks really impressive too. So now we're just making up our icing for this. It's just some powdered sugar, a little bit of milk, a little bit of vanilla. Now, just always keep in mind, I've told y'all this before, but go really slowly with adding your liquids when you're making like a powdered sugar kind of drizzle icing. I swear, I don't know what it is, and I've heard somebody else say this too. So, but once you get like too thin, it doesn't seem to ever want to thicken up. So the big thing is go really slow. As soon as it gets to the consistency you want it, go ahead and stop there. This was perfect on these cinnamon rolls. It was so very good. I do still think cinnamon, cream cheese frosting would be great too, but this frosting was absolutely delicious on them. And it was so quick and easy, and almost felt like you were making homemade cinnamon rolls, but I know it's more like a semi-homemade, you know, obviously with the crescent rolls, but it was a delicious way to use crescent rolls and turn them into something completely different. This again would be great for Christmas morning, or even like a sweet appetizer for a gathering. I guarantee you everyone will love them and want more. So you'll probably want to make more than one batch. I just did one, but this would be so easy to double, triple, whatever you need. And it would be just a quick, easy way. And it looks really pretty and impressive too. So we really love these. So now we have sausage crescent squares. Now I actually had a coworker who used to make these and bring them to work, and they were so good. And I thought, I've got to make these. When I'm showing y'all some ways to use crescent rolls, I'm definitely going to do the sausage ones. And so this is a super simple recipe. Again, you're just going to take, I made a half a recipe. So I just took half of the crescent roll package and pressed it into the bottom of my square pan. And I'm just using my roller to kind of roll the other one so the seams, get all good and connected together. Again, this is a great, time to use like those dough sheets. And you could just slice that in half and be ready to go. So either way, however you'd like to do it's fine. But I've got some sausage here that I've cooked up. I had already actually had it cooked in the freezer, and so I just thawed that out. And then I'm just mixing in some cream cheese, and that's really all there is to it. Now, you could add some things to it. I could see onions being like a really good addition if you like onions, onions and peppers. You could do lots of different things along with it. But this is just the basic recipe. Definitely feel free to, like, you know, add your own twist to it. I always think that's fun to do with recipes. But we're just going to spread that in the pan and top it with our other part of our crescent rolls. And I just tried to kind of press it to the edges to make sure that, you know, the filling didn't kind of like come out over the edges the best I could. And then that's it. It's ready to go in the oven. And this will just bake at 350 degrees for about 15 to 18 minutes. You know, our sausage is already cooked, so we're just getting our crescent rolls all nice and golden brown and everything all warmed through. These are so good and super simple. This would be another thing that would be great for Christmas morning. You could even pre-cook your sausage the day before to help save a little time. So definitely a great recipe, and I definitely recommend that one too. So next up we have French dip crescent rolls with Au Jus. Have y'all ever had the Arby's French dip little sub type thing they have with Au Jus? I used to always love that. So I was really excited to try this recipe. First, we're starting on the Au Jus, and we're just going to saute until it's kind of caramelized, a little bit of red onion, and then we're going to add in a little bit of garlic to that and let that go for just a minute, and then add some Worcestershire sauce, or however you say that, and put that in there and let that heat for just a little bit. Now the recipe did call for you to deglaze, you know, all the little bits from your onion and stuff like that with some white wine. It's like 1/8 of a cup though, and I didn't want to. I have those little tiny bottles that I use for recipes. I didn't want to open one just for 1/8 a cup, so I just used some of the beef broth to do that, and that worked fine. I'm sure that wine would add a little different flavor, so you know, if you have that on hand that you can use that, that would be good too. But we're going to bring that to a boil. While we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and get started on our crescents themselves. So I've just got my crescents all separated. I've added a little bit of horseradish to the crescent. I only did that on a few of those. And then I'm adding the roast beef. Then I'm going to top it with half a slice of Swiss cheese. And you could obviously use some like other cheeses if you like to. I think like, you know, provolone would be good. Maybe a smoked Gouda. There's lots of different ones I think that would be a really good flavor too. And basically we're just going to roll those up. It's really easy. And then, you know, place them on our baking dish, which for me, again, is the baking stone. I really like using it with things like, you know, crescent rolls and stuff like that. I just feel like it bakes really well. I tend to always use parchment paper on my baking stone. I know a lot of people don't, but it just makes for easy cleanup. So it's just something that saves me a step. But let me know down in the comments below what y'all's favorite recipes are for crescent rolls, because this was really fun to try some different things. I don't use crescent rolls a whole lot, and so it was really interesting to get to try some new things, and of course repeat, you know, our good old favorite of the chocolate crescents. They're so good. So now that that au jus has come to a boil, we're going to go ahead and add in a little bit of like a cornstarch slurry. It also mentioned you could use flour. It doesn't really thicken it too much. It's just kind of, I think, to give it a little more substance. The recipe actually called for you to strain it and leave the onions out, but I love onions and I wanted to leave them in. So definitely feel free to strain that if you like. And also I did end up adding just a little bit of salt since I used unsalted broth. So keep that in mind. You know, if you end up using unsalted broth, you might need to add just a little bit of salt. So I would definitely say these were good. They were not my favorite thing. That au jus, though, was absolutely amazing. I think I would rather just make the French dip top subs and use that au jus. Thank y'all so much for joining me today. I appreciate each one of you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I'd love it if you give me a thumbs up. I hope you have a blessed day wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one.